Bună ziua, bine ați venit. Well, today it's a bit of a different video because I want to share with you some of the books that authors have signed for me or that have some sentimental attachment to me. So this really should appear on my other channel. I'll probably put it there, Books and Isolation with Dr. David. But I wanted to share these with you anyway. So the first one is South America on a Shoestring. Now, many years ago, in, 1986, I did a big journey through South America. The previous year, I'd been to Africa, and I'd used a book called Africa on a Shoestring by Lonely Planet, company run by Tony and Maureen Wheeler. But the book had been written by Jeff Crowther, who was previously the author of BIT, B-I-T. Sadly, Jeff is now deceased. But I wrote in some suggestions because that's how you did things in those days. You wrote in and gave information about hotel prices, which borders were open, which borders were closed, etc., etc. Now, a year later, after I came back from Africa, I was in South America for a time and was traveling from Bolivia to Peru across the border of Lake Titicaca by train to a town called Puno. And I was sitting down in the train, and opposite me was a bearded gentleman with his South Korean wife. And I thought, that guy looks exactly like Jeff Crowther. And it was Jeff Crowther. So I whipped out my copy of South America on a Shoestring, and Jeff, very kindly, and his wife signed my copy of the book. So we travelled together for 2 days, imbibing a crate of beer and a lot of mandarins that we bought. We bought a crate of mandarins and a crate of beer and travelled together for a couple of days. So I have very fond memories of Jeff Crowther, and thank him in absentia for signing my book. And what an extraordinary coincidence to run into him on that train. And he remembered the letters I'd written to him about Africa and about the improvements he could make to his travel guide. Okay, next book is by my father-in-law, my sogro. Langa Tine Meriu. A series of poems, and he's 87 now, still with us, and he very kindly signed his book to his Ginere Louis, Meo David, to his son-in-law, good respect, and some of them are very funny and well worth a view. Now, writing poetry runs in my family. We have here a collection of poems by someone called Kairiog. Now, he's my great-great-grandfather and wrote a series of poems which are well known in Wales. Probably the more famous ones would be Nantimunus Groiu Loyo, which translates as fresh, clear mountain stream. Nantimunus Groiu Loyo. It's learned in Welsh schools, I understand. His most famous poem is probably Ar hyd y nos, all through the night. Ar hyd y nos. which is sung at various occasions, including rugby matches. His name was John Ceiriog Hughes, the same as his grandson, the same as my father. And he was a station master in North Wales and adopted the bardic name of Ceiriog. Was awarded seats at the Eisteddfod, and his dates were 1832 to 1887. He's regarded in Wales as being the Robbie Burns, the Robert Burns of Wales, really. And was part of a group of writers and poets who revitalised the Welsh language and writing in Welsh at that time. He didn't live very long. I mean, 1832 to 1887 is not a huge amount of time, but I'm very proud to have him as one of my ancestors. The next book that I have signed by the author and a friend is Lachlan McKinnon, a book of poetry, The Jupiter Collisions. Now, Lachlan was a colleague of mine at a school where I taught. He retired, lives in Ely with his partner, Wendy Cope, probably the best poet laureate that we never had. Very amusing poems. Lockie, I think, has been described as the Robert Frost of the UK. Writes very moving, very thoughtful poems. Is a Francophile. I think he wrote a book about Baudelaire. I'm not sure. Let's just check. Yes, he did. He wrote Eliot Auden Lowell Aspects of the Baudelairean Inheritance. And his big book, if you like, his non-fiction book, was Shakespeare the Aesthete, an exploration of literary theory. So he's written several collections. I haven't kept up with his writing recently, but he is a friend, and much valued friend. And if you find a book of poetry by Lachlan McKinnon, I would recommend that you buy it and read it. You will not be disappointed. I'm a huge fan of Julian Barnes. Now, an ex-wife of mine, I only have one, queued up in London to get this signed by Julian Barnes. To David from Julian Barnes. A History of the World in 10.5 chapters. Very, very amusing. He's a bit older than me, but I got interested in the work of Julian Barnes by reading Flaubert's Parrot. And I suppose Metroland describes a very similar path that we had. I think he was at City of London School, and I was at boarding school in London. So we had a similar experience of life, although he's originally from Leicester, I believe. But Julian Barnes is acerbic, witty, and a fantastic author, whom I would recommend to anyone. He's written a lot of books now. I should have explained the bardic name Ceiriog. It came because my great-great-grandfather was born in Llanarmon Dyffryn Ceiriog in North Wales, near the border with England. A lot of people can't understand Ceiriog. They think Ceiniog, which means penny in Welsh, or Ceisiog, tried, or Caidios, which means cherry. No, it has nothing to do with that. It's Caidiog from Clanam Dyffryn Caidiog. So that's why he took the bardic name of Caidiog. Okay. The final book, which I would recommend, is probably my favourite book of all time, and that's Proust, Du côté de chez Swann, Swann's Way. I took a bus once from Chartres to Cambrai, as it's become known, Illiers-Cambrai, which is where Proust's ancestral home was. And I wanted to look round his house, but I just missed the guided tour. And the lady, the gatekeeper, as we can call her, refused to let me catch up with the guided tour because I was too late. So I made it into the entrance hall, but that was as far as I got. So I went down Swann's Way because it's indicated on the map, and I was able to have a stroll along the côté de chez Swann to see the aubépine. Books play a huge role in my life. I hope that you are all still reading and enjoying books. I hope you've enjoyed these books that I've had signed or that have meant something to me. One more video this week, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye.